Hey guys, happy January going into February. Monthly video, so there's going to be a lot in here. A little late getting to it. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the most current stuff that you guys should be looking at if you're thinking about buying or selling or you know somebody, but even keeping your house updated. Might want to watch the whole video. All right, so real quick market overview. Market's still good. So in reference to 12 o'clock being a very high seller's market, 6 o'clock being a very high buyer's market. We're probably at the 1:30, 2 o'clock mark right now. And as you know, it goes by area. So you can't compare areas like Marlton, Evesham Township, Voorhees to Palmyra, Pennsauken. And there's nothing wrong with those places either, but it's just a different market. And we're seeing a steady days on market, low days on market in the Evesham area, Voorhees, Bucks County, in certain areas like Bensalem, Lower Southampton, stuff like that. But we're also seeing a lot of higher days on market, like areas that are taking a hit right now that the contracts are expiring because they can't sell the property in South Philly, North Philly, of course, the Camden area, Woodbury, and I also have here Pennsauken. So when you're considering an area, this is going to determine, remember that clock, that 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock? Well, like I said, the average is about 1:30. In some of those areas, it's still 1 o'clock, maybe 12:30. But in some of those other areas, like South Philly and a couple of those other places I mentioned, it could be at 3:30, it could be at 4 o'clock. Some of them could be at 5 o'clock. So depending on what area you're looking at, consult with your agent or reach out to us and we'll tell you where you should be at. Rates. You're going to see probably something in the news today or tomorrow. So the Fed's meeting for the first time today on the structure of if they're going to be lowering or increasing any rates. My projection is that they are going to be lowering the rates, nothing major. And the bank rate is totally different from the interest rate that you're going to be getting. Okay, so even though that the bank is saying, hey, 6.5, that's our interest rate. Now, all of a sudden you hear in the news, hey, the Fed just increased the rates 1%. But wait a minute, my bank didn't change. Why is that? It's up to the bank's discretion. The Fed rate has something to do with the rate, but does not control the interest rate. It only controls the rate that the banks can borrow money from other banks, and including the government. They take that and then they decide what they want to add on top of that to make a profit. So usually the Fed rate is anywhere between 2.5 to maybe 4.5 on some, highest 5, and then the bank will charge their on top of that. Okay. So if you have any questions or you're interested in the rates, give me a call and give me a call tomorrow or later today, and I'll let you know where you're at. We are also having a seminar, not this Thursday, next Thursday. So February 8th at 7 p.m. It will be recorded. If you are interested, send us a request. But you should be getting a flyer with a QR code. With me, with technology, all you got to do is put your camera app on it, put your focusing on that. You'll get a blip, click it, and then you can register to be on air. Our seminars are called Overcoming the Fears of the Market. So whatever the news, big media is promoting about the real estate, the mortgage, you're actually going to get the truth. You're actually going to get to hear what's going on actually in your area in reference to that. We want to make sure all the news, not just the negative stuff, is going out there. All right, we just finished up in January, 30 days to be a strong buyer and seller. If you're thinking about buying and selling, taking advantage of that spring market, or you know of somebody, please let us know or go onto our YouTube page. I think it's broken up into 6 sections. Each day, there's something for that buyer to become a strong buyer going into that market. So their offers are going to get accepted before anybody else's. Same thing with the seller. It's 30 days on how to have the best property. So this way you're the competition and you're not trying to beat the competition. You're the one that's going to go off the market in 4 days with multiple offers all over asking and no contingencies. So make sure you follow that. If there's any questions, let me know. Also, we're getting busy over here. And of course, you know, we changed our brand from the Mike Fitzpatrick team to Our Team, Your Dream. I know, a little corny, but it's the truth. It's better than the Mike Fitzpatrick team, I think. But with that being said, we are in need of agents. So if you know of any family members, any coworkers or whatever that are a little bit stressed out, that they're doing some deals anywhere from about 12 to 24, but they have no support staff whatsoever, please reach out to me. We're looking at agents in South Jersey, Philadelphia, and Bucks County areas. Maybe down the shore. Haven't put a question mark on that one. All right. One of the things, also big topic for around the house stuff. Of course, if you guys need anything vendor list wise, we have a huge vendor list everywhere from real estate attorneys all the way down to contractors, waterproofing, and stuff like that. The reason I say waterproofing because that seems to be the most common topic since the beginning of the year to now. Everybody's getting a hit, and homeowners insurance is not covering it. And they're getting bills anywhere from $6,000 to $20,000 that they got to come out of pocket with. We have options for you, and we're going to get into that with the financing and all that. But if you need a reputable person, and this is most important, reputable. I want you to check these people on the Better Business Bureau. We do not recommend anybody who is not registered on the Better Business Bureau, or we personally have not used them, and they have to get 5 stars from our clients, so we don't recommend them. But waterproofing seems to be the, and it's also affecting us too. We just found out that we had a couple cracks in our foundation, and because our water level's pretty high, it's starting to come from the concrete. So we got to get that rectified. We actually got to get some drywall taken out, put a French drain in, put a sump pump in, and then we'll be good to go. Yeah, right? Home ownership, right? All right, so let's get back into the house stuff. I haven't used this in the last like 3 or 4 years, and this is a perfect time to bring this back. It's called the Debt Buster program. Basically, what it does is when you get your paycheck, it divides it all up. And within 2 years, depending on how much you're putting in, you could be debt-free within that time period. And it really doesn't affect you. You don't have a stress level. It's basically like putting yourself on a diet for 6 months, and you're not starving yourself, but you're also not indulging yourself. You're taking that extra money and paying some of these high interest rates off. And this also brings us into the next topic. Refis, HELOCs, what's better, what's the difference? So there's 2 types of refis. One, the lower interest rate refi is a straight refi. That's when you call your bank. That's when you say, hey, look, I got a 7.25 interest rate. What's the interest rate right now? 6.25. Okay. Is it in my best interest to refinance? In my opinion, anything under 3/4 of a point, yeah, you might want to look at it, but look at the closing costs that are associated with it. If it does work for you, lowers your payments, maybe changes your payment yearly structure from a 30-year to a 15-year, do it. Okay? You're going to be paying more principal, and you're going to be paying less interest. Now, the other refi is the refi pullout. That interest rate may be a tad higher because guess what? Your equity is now being reduced. So if you had an equity of $100,000 and you're refinancing on a $300,000 house, okay. But if you decide to take $50,000 out, then you become on kind of a higher risk, so you might get a higher interest rate on that. The one program that I really do like, and people say, Mike, I really don't want to refi. I'm one of those people at the 2.5%, 3% interest rate, and I don't feel like going up to 6 just to pull $50,000 out. Then you might want to consider a HELOC. A HELOC is a home equity loan line of credit. That means I can open up a line of credit on my equity. Doesn't hit my primary loan. I don't care what the interest rate is, be honest with you. Whether it's 6 or probably won't be 6, but it'll probably be like maybe 6.8 to anywhere from 8. But it's a line of credit. And guess what? I apply for it. I get $50,000. Does it mean I get charged interest rate right then and there? Nope. I leave it in there until I'm ready to use it. And once I'm ready to use it, I pay it back when I can. But I'm paying that one a little bit more. But guess what? It doesn't affect my other interest rate. So these are options for you, especially when it comes to that waterproofing. So when that $20,000 bill comes in and you have to do it, don't squash that 2.5% interest rate, get a HELOC. Because most likely, if you got your 2.5% interest rate, most likely you switched your rate between the years of 2020 and 2022. Trust me, you have equity in your house. Call me, call your bank, get an appraisal done, but you do have equity in your house as long as you didn't pull anything out. All right. Next one, insurance, another big one. So with insurance, a lot of these waterproofing is not being covered by it. A lot of these insurance companies now are changing their systems. So one of the major changes that these insurance companies added a little while ago was sewer lines. Before they were not covered, you were on the hook for it. So when the home warranty company started including it for an extra charge, the insurance companies are adding it now. So, but you have to ask them. It's not part of their normal package. Do that. Find out how much extra your sewer pipe and also waterproofing going into the future if you don't have an existing claim. The reason for this is because, believe it or not, your policy may only jump up 150 from both of them. Waterproofing can be anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000, $6,000 to $20,000, maybe more. Your sewer pipe, anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000, depending on how much they have to dig up and put in there and replace. These are things you definitely want to look into, or at least get an estimate. And that brings us up to part of our vendor list. We have insurance companies. If you don't want to do the work, the only thing I need from you is your declaration page, and we'll have somebody contact you to find the best rate that compares, that has all the inclusions that you have. That's why I need your declaration page to find out what your deductible is, what you're being covered for. And if you want to add any coverage on there, like the sewer and waterproofing, just include that in the email. And of course, that email is selling_your_house@yahoo.com. Another big topic we've had in the last 2 months is title work. Okay, not for buying and selling, but on my house, my kids are on my deed. God forbid, in case something happens to me. Same thing with my parents. No, I'm on their deed in case something happens to them. Okay, it only costs you the price of a search, maybe $250 or $300, and then you're added on there. The title company has to do a search on you, but this is something that you want to do to protect that property and make sure that everyone that owns real estate should have a will. Okay, that was another topic. But title work, anybody that needs anything in regards to being put on a title, please reach out to us. All right, last thing, you probably saw an attachment. It's got a page 1 and page 2 to it. All right, the smart home. Well, the first page was going over the refis, the HELOCs, and the debt buster. So any questions on that? And on the debt buster, if you don't want our system is the same one that we got from Profit First. It's a small book. It's a great read on Amazon, but you're probably going to need the software. So if you don't download it from the book, let us know and we'll send it over to you. The last part about the flyer is making sure your house is a smart home. You want to keep up with the times. You want to keep up with the technology. Everyone's heard of the Nest. Hey, I'm down the shore. I'm coming home. I want to change the temperature so I get home not to a cold. I don't want to get home to a cold house. I want to get home to a warm house. You're able to do that. Solar panels. They have gotten much, much better in the last 10 years. Okay? You might want to look into that. Timers for your garden, lawn, anything, pool, anything that can save energy. Get a bunch of timers. Those timers only cost anywhere from $10 to $50, depending on what you need it for, like digital, manual, and all that stuff. But it'll save you hundreds and hundreds of dollars over the years. Cameras. So even though I enjoy watching my neighbors make mistakes, my kids fall down, that's actually it can tie into your Nest. It can you can watch it on your iPad. You can watch it from wherever you want, and your house is pretty safe. Tankless hot water system. I've always had one. They're great. You never have to worry about that bad boy busting. You never have to worry about losing all your hot water. It just sits on your wall. It's on-demand system. You can run it for 5 hours, and guess what? You'll get 5 hours of hot water. Smart locks. So get the locks that don't have the key, or there's a hidden spot for the key. This will prevent anybody trying to break in, and then it's code only. But yes, you got to make sure the batteries are good. But I'm going to get to why using a smart lock. You can unlock your door at any time, any place. You could be at work and the kids are getting home. It's like, oh, I forgot my keys. Boom, you can let them in. The reason I brought all these up is because they all have something in common. They can reduce your homeowner's insurance. if you call your homeowner's insurance company, they're never going to call you and say, hey, you got a smart home? We're going to reduce you down to $250 on your policy. Not going to happen. But if you call them and you tell them, yes, I have a receipt here for a Nest, we're getting solar panels, we got timers all around the house, we got security cameras that are linked into our Nest or our ADT or whatever system. Also, if you have a system that's linked to your 911, like in case of a fire or someone takes a fall, tankless hot water system, huge discount. Nobody ever thinks about that because what's one of the top 10 claims? Busted hot water, floods the basement. There is no chance of that now. And the smart locks, anything without a keyless entry, believe it or not, is actually a discount with some insurance companies. So, all right, I took 15 minutes of your time. I got a lot in there. If there's any questions about real estate, title, anything, insurance, give us a call back at 267-549-2505. And remember, even though it's our team, it's your dream, okay? Let us know how we can help you today.